Hey guys, welcome back to the CNSL Season 7. We're in Group B, and this is the losers match. I actually kind of predicted these two players to be moving on out of the group, but that's definitely not true for at least one of them, maybe even both. We've already seen Sabre advance in first place with some very, very strong Zerg versus Terran. And now we're going to go into a Terran versus Terran best of 3 here between Leta, the old school pro, Scan, the newer school pro. Should be a good one. Let's do it. Let's get into game number 1 here. We're going to be going to Radion, and in the bottom right, we have Leta. In the top left, we have Scan. So, I know, obviously, from those best of ones, my prediction is not super fantastic. I wasn't too surprised to see Mihu beat Leta, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of Leta's play. I think it's kind of obvious. I never really have been. He just plays such a fanciful technical style that he's missing some of the fundamental macro mechanics that you kind of really need to be successful, in my opinion at least. And, going up against Scan, I do favor Scan here. I don't know. Like, Leta can win. He's more experienced, and that doesn't count for nothing, man. Like, seriously, in higher pressure matches, knowing how to win, that's like an underrated thing. That's because it's kind of nebulous too, I think, right? Like knowing how to win. You hear people talk about that sometimes in various competitions, various sports and whatnot. But it is like a real thing where if you have a player that's really experienced and just kind of like gets it, has won a lot of important matches, there's like a feeling that it is kind of where you're like, you know not to give up. You kind of, these are things that you can like logically know, but if you're not as experienced as a player like Leta, I think it can be really difficult to deal with. Oh my god, I can't believe he's playing like this. Scan is doing a cross-spawn scout to go command center first. Oh, wow. Oh, no, never mind. Okay, because that is a build that I see some people do sometimes. But it's pretty rare, and it's pretty... I find it to be a little bit cheesy, a little bit luck-based. Instead, he goes forward 12 racks down here at 6 o'clock. So that's like a really interesting spot. If his opponent's on the bottom of the map, this is super powerful. If he's top right, then he's a little bit behind, but it's not end of the world. Okay, anyways, that whole thing about like how to win, right? Like you can get players that are very good, but don't have a certain... And again, it's a little bit nebulous. I wish that I had a better way to describe this, but it's kind of like they don't have that little bit that shows them like, oh, this is the opportunity to win. This is, to have the gumption to stay in a game and look for the one mistake their opponent can make. That type of thing, right? Like, I think there's a great example of Leta beating, if I recall correctly, it was Action on Eclipse in ASL, like an early ASL season, maybe season 8 or so, where Leta was 100% dead. And then, so what he did was he blind countered like 3 things that Action literally had to do exactly these things in this order, and Leta might be able to win then, right? Most people would have left the game. He did that, and Action did the things, and Leta won. And it was the most insane. I remember casting and just being like, I can't even believe this. Because he's so far behind, he can't even scout what his opponent's doing. He just has to guess over and over what's happening and get it right. And he did. And so that's kind of what I'm talking about. I hope that makes sense to people, because I know that can be like kind of hard to get your brain around. Anyways, we have pressure going on right now. I should have kind of paid attention to this. It is that proxy barracks play really coming into play for him. Look at that. He's already killed a couple Marines. Another coming down. Oh, a good snipe there. Definitely worth. It's a gasless expand from Leta, so he is in a little bit of trouble from this Marine pressure. And this will slow his factory down a bit as well. Well, not that slow, though. Still pretty reasonable. And you can see, oh my god, he's trying so hard to get this Marine, and his other Marine coming down trying to chase, but now he's going to get flanked. Oh, whoops. And yeah, he is going to be able to kill that. As you can see, it's got 2 hits left from an SCV, so can't do much more. And Leta has held. Okay. So it's held. The bunker's up. He's going to get Marines in there. This barracks is going to fly over and find out exactly what Leta is trying to do. There's a Vulture out already. 2 Vultures, in fact, before the add-on. He might try to run by this. But look at Leta leave an SCV here. He knows that Scan is looking for a bit more damage. Dude, this is huge. It's going to take 2 volleys to kill it because there's only 2 vultures. So if he tries to run these both in at the same time and that SCV's there, it's going to ruin it. But he moves the SCV. The barracks was watching. Look at that. He gets in right before this lands. And one of them gets mostly blocked. So you can see, like, Leta, you know... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's 5 health. It's 5 health. He's getting so much damage right now. Ooh. And the barracks actually took some shots there as well. Kind of crazy. Scan gets a huge amount of damage here. This is fantastic. Okay. Okay, so this is finally done. He sees that it's starport. He sees that it's factory. And in fact, he killed all the Marines that were in here. What insanity. But, oh my God, he's going to starport. But, you know, Scan is down 5 SCVs still, so that's something for Leta. But Leta's just going to be screwed because it's 2 starport Wraith. Like, the amount of pressure that Scan has put on here is pretty overwhelming. Leta's going to go across with this. If somehow he could get a scout with it, this would still be a salvageable game. But the tank putting damage on, he's got to run that home to help with defense. And just having, like, 2 port Wraith against 1 port Wraith, it's like almost a free win in and of itself. There's not a single Marine on the map for Leta. It's as bad as it can get. Like, I think Scan's going to just pick this game up as soon as he brings his Wraiths over. Is he going to wait for 4? Is he getting Academy? If you're going to wait for 4, you need to get your Academy, I think. Because if you're waiting for 4 and they go 1 and then add-on, then they can actually have Cloak pretty quickly. Like, you'll get there before, but yeah, things could turn with Cloak against no Cloak and no detection. All right, the Wraith's flying down. He's going to try to catch us. Wraiths can do moving shots, so... This is bad for Leta, man. Leta not going to be happy with that one. Picks it off super, super fast. Only takes 20 points of damage himself. Killing a Wraith. And Leta's just going to GG. Not a big surprise. A very dominant game number 1 for Scan. So going into our second game between Leta here in the top left and Scan in the top right. Yeah, I mean, Scan, he took a 2/3 proxy. Right? So like 2/3 of the time where he builds his barracks will be very, very close to his opponent. Like, for instance, if Leta had been top right and done the same build, he would have had an edge there. Whereas Scan had an edge where he built it against what he was going against. And of course, Scan went into double starport without 100% knowing what Leta would do. But starport openers are the most common, and Leta is a starport guy. So I think Scan, you know, he took a few risks in there. But they weren't huge risks, and it all seemed pretty smart, pretty valid plays there from Scan. You know, Leta, he got caught. He got caught a little bit. You know, if you're going to do these really fast command centers, they are very strong, but if your opponent gets a barrack somewhere near you, your win rate is going to drop pretty dramatically. So, you know, it's something that happens. A small risk on both sides, really. Now, we're on Troy. So anything can happen. Troy is just an insane map. You know, we have these assimilators. And look at this. He's actually going for a very forward barracks, which I think is absolutely the right play. In fact, both of them want to have this out front. They'll probably both go gasless so they can get bunkers up really fast because they don't want anyone to pick on their geysers. So the assimilators, I'm going to go over this for people. I know that a lot of people watching have already heard this a lot of times, but these are neutral assimilators. Why the assimilator? The assimilator's actual graphics are smaller than a geyser's, so it opens up this path. This path can fit any unit. If you kill one, it suddenly doesn't fit any mech units, only bio units. You kill both, it doesn't fit anything through there. So you basically can turn this into an island. Right, so these are pretty crazy strong. If you kill them off, it becomes very tough. Other than these, right? Other than there being a bunch of assimilators on the map that can be killed off, the map is pretty good for Terran. Other than that, but you know, that is a very hard thing for Terran to deal with if they can't just rally out of their main. Dropships are super expensive. They don't have Nidus. They don't have recall. Right? It's no good. So if you lose that, you're screwed. Which is probably why they're playing like this, getting their barracks out there right away and kind of making sure that they're going to be safe. And the thing is, even if your opponent goes proxy barracks, you're actually okay with with a gasless expand. You can still win against that, right? Or you can still hold. Like we saw that previous game, there was a proxy barracks, and Leta still ended up holding, right? Like he did end up losing the game, but it wasn't like he was pushed back into his main base, right? And that's what you're looking for in Troy, is to not be pushed back into your main base. Okay, anyways, they're both going for gasless expansions. Really, really similar as far as all the timings here. Looks like Scan's like just a tiny bit ahead, a little bit on that command center, as you can see. Actually, like almost 30% of the command center ahead. And just slightly ahead on the gas, like, what, 16 gas ahead, something like that. Not a big deal. We actually have the bunker going up, but no bunker from Scan. So if you're playing gasless versus gasless, it's far better to not get the bunker. You can just skip and just make an extra marine, and your opponent can't attack, especially uphill. So Scan's build is just optimized a little bit better here. His factory just barely faster. Yeah, no big surprises anywhere. And he'll probably get like 1 SCV up due to the speed of his command center. There's a bunker here, and this does add other defense. Like, this might be useful. Like, let's say Scan goes Vultures and, you know, Leta goes Wraith. Then he would have wanted this bunker anyways. But, of course, it does slow the build down a little bit. Looking at Scan's base, second factory going up, so wouldn't be surprised if this turns into a Vulture War. We'll see on Leta's side, though. He's got to make his decision. Second fact? No? Okay, he's going Starport. So, from Leta, it should be Siege Tank plus Wraith. From Scan, we actually still don't know. This could be Goliath Tank, and this could be Vulture. He'll go 1 Vulture to open. And let's see. Armory. So, this looks to me... And the thing is, you can actually go Armory and go like 3-factor or something, but I think it's going to be Goliath Tank. If I was playing Leta, I would probably do the exact same thing that Scan is doing here, because he is such a Wraith guy. He's literally the most known Wraith player in the world. Just to put this into perspective, okay? And look, he's going 2-port. You know, even back in the Kespa days, he was a master of Wraith micro back then. He's one of the best still to this day. I don't put him as number 1. I think Light probably is slightly better at Wraith micro. I think Bishop is slightly better, but Leta is absolutely up there. And he knows the transitions of it very, very well. Notice that he is getting an academy as well. So he's preparing for Scan. Well, yeah, he's preparing for Scan as opponent. But also what I mean by that is he's preparing to get Scan so that if it is Cloaked Wraith he's against, he'll do fine. Because you can go like 1-port Cloak. You can, you know, there's all sorts of different things. But yeah, these two builds are actually like... I don't feel like one is better than the other here. This is all personal preference at this point, right? They've got similar SCV counts. They both got their command centers down at about the same time. And it really does come down heavily to personal preference, where it's like, do you like to play Goliath Tank? Do you want to play Wraiths with some pressure into your own factories? Like, what do you want to do there? Now, Scan coming across the map, he does have 4 Marines. So 4 Marines kill a Wraith super easily. 2 Wraiths can beat that with micro, and of course he will have multiple Wraiths. Cloak is already on the way, and in fact he's going up to 3 Wraiths really fast also. Tanks are out. I don't believe he got siege mode yet, if I'm not mistaken. Pushes his tank out to the front. Siege mode about to finish for Scan. So as he flies this down, yeah, I don't think he'll try to attack. 2 tanks on the high ground. You probably don't want to hit that, especially with Wraiths here. Wraith tank really can outplay just regular tank because it gives you that additional vision without scanning. Now, Scan almost has his academy done, which is good because Cloak is about to finish. That could be annoying. Siege mode on the way here for Leta, about halfway done as well. And we'll see how many Wraiths he actually wants to go before adding those factories as well. Okay, he sets up. The Wraith's going to come back immediately. Now, does he use that Cloak? Yeah, okay, he turns on the Cloak, goes after the Marines. No use in even scanning here, even if he had his scans ready, which he does not. But even if he did, you're not going to get any real damage before these kill you. So, Leta actually, I would say, in a way, takes an early advantage here. One thing to note is there is a 5 SCV lead, but that's 1 from the faster command center that we were talking about before, and 4 from the scanners. So as these scanners go up, Leta should bring it back within 1 if we have perfect production on both sides. And we'll see about that. It looks like just barely not going to be the case. It drops to 2. Oh, no, there it is. Drops to 1. Okay. Yeah, see? StarCraft is math in many ways. All right, so we have 4 factories here. He is getting his Goliath range, really important. Very fast +1 for Scan, +1 vehicle weapons. It's kind of interesting to see. Normally you don't see the +1 vehicle weapons ever started before 3rd Command Center, but he is doing it here. Trying to push those Wraiths out. The Wraiths do fly away for a little bit. You can notice that Leta is adding quite a few factories. Very important to go up after this to 4 to 5 factories. And he's actually... Oh! The 3rd base actually going to be the island. That is a fun thing about Troy that we don't see in modern maps. An island expansion that doesn't have mineral patches here, so you can just float a command center down. Definitely one of the things on the map that try to make it up for Terran a little bit. They're the only race, obviously, that can do something like that. But he is going to be taking that since he has air dominance. Makes a lot of sense. Obviously, this expansion as well going to be something he wants to think about. Maybe he'll even go 4 base quickly. That's a possibility. Yeah. Look at that. Leta with a super fast 4 base. Okay, so he's going to have 4 base and also that being 4 gas. Oh, God, this could be bad. Scan can shove this right now. It's 3 tanks. Like, this is an overextension from Leta. Oh, brutal. Brutal. Where are those Wraiths at? He's not targeting Goliath, so the Wraiths are not going to be able to save the day here. Sometimes that's a move that you do where you've gone Wraiths, and then if an attack like this comes in, you target Goliaths and then clean up with Wraiths. But not going to be able to do that. That means there's very solid contain coming up from Scan. And in fact, continuing to push. Oh, damn. Yeah, I guess he definitely can. There's only 1 siege tank there. 4 add-ons for Leta. Just going to try to catch up. Not sure if that'll end up working. His Wraiths being mangled. Dude, are we going to have like the quickest best 3 TVT ever? It looks like it right now. Dude, Leta is looking so close to dead. This is absolutely terrible. Scan has so many units up here right now. Now, he does end up losing a few more units there. Only a couple Wraiths remain. He has sieged on his high ground. Okay, he breaks most of the tanks. Breaks most of them. But Scan killed a lot of SCVs during that time. It looks like he tried to start his 3rd, but the Wraiths maybe got it. He's going to be able to come in here and see that, in fact... oh, damn. I can't believe he picked off another tank there. Sacked some Goliaths. But he's going to see that there's an additional command center. I don't know if he knows about this yet. But this command center is really hard to hold. Like, you need a dropship ASAP. Is he getting a dropship? He's not. So I think his plan is just to float this away. Or hold the phone. If he can kill this, this is actually a great idea. Dude, he should target that 100%. He has Wraiths here. If he targets this down, you kill this, no mech units fit through. And suddenly he's got a little island here, and he's got an island here. And he's the one with 2 starports. So, like, that seems really reasonable. Okay, he's actually just pushing forward. It looks like he wants to keep this open. Scan coming up, bringing SCVs, trying to get a kill right now. Sieges into a very strong position. Forces an unsiege, and he is going to start to run. Dude, I think if he had killed this, that would have been a sick, sick play. You kill this, you get a dropship to put a couple units and SCVs in here, and suddenly you're golden. But as is, there's no way for him to get tanks up to stop this. And in fact, Scan sieging up on this high ground now. Leta just hemorrhaging everywhere. Look at this differential. He's still down in workers, not as much as before, but still down in workers. And look at this, a good 20, 30 supply down. Scan macroing like a beast. He's got double starport production. So it looks like he wants to just kind of counter the fact that his opponent's been going Wraiths with his own Wraiths. It's a really good play, actually. If your opponent goes for something that is like Wraiths, right? Like, this exists in so many ways, mutas, whatever. In a mirror matchup, and you just get a little bit more of them, you're going to be in good shape, especially here, because once you go Wraith, you don't make Goliaths. That's your anti-air, is just the fact that you have Wraiths. So I think that that's going to do really, really well for Scan. Scan pushing up again into the natural. Leta being absolutely bullied this game. Having a very, very hard time. Is Gas going to get sieged? You know, somehow this base is still alive, so that's something, right? So he is still going to have 4 command centers. Losing a few of these tanks. Should be able to end the Gas, though. I feel like, you know, Scan is, like, really trying to end the game over and over. You know, and I think that it's okay. He's so far ahead that maybe that's a really reasonable play. But I also feel like he's allowing Leta at some of these moments to kill more units than he should. Whereas, think about this, right? Like, Scan could have already been maxed out in his supply. Not that that's a better play. Like, I think pushing in, getting a lot of SCVs, denying gas, things like that are very, very good. But what I'm trying to impart here is at some point you've done enough damage, and if you just go like turret, tank, dropship, or wraith, either one, right? You make positions that are completely unbreakable for your opponent, and then you just punish them trying to get out with dropships, right? So if they're trying to get out with dropships, either you counter drop on those dropships with just as many dropships, or you can bring wraiths in to snipe them down, right? If you get enough wraiths that they can't really get out, either one of those will then force it back into a ground game and your containment just wins. So there is definitely a point of, like, if we're winning a certain amount, finishing them is not the best play. It can be if you actually finish, but in TVT, man, where there's a siege tank, there's a way. Now, the Wraiths fly in. This is very painful. We have Goliath range on the way. Some Goliaths being made as well. He has got to get those out there. Going to pick off multiple siege tanks here, it's looking like. Leta has pulled some SCVs to try to repair. Scan in the meantime. Very well saturated. New fourth base coming up. Looks like he's getting ready for another one. His Wraiths adding some much-needed air support. Double dropship on the way. Oh, I love it. I love it. So, see, he is setting up this contain. He is throwing down multiple turrets, and he's getting turrets all over the place. And he's got the Wraiths, which are forcing Goliaths to be bought, right? Now, from there, it looks to me... And look, he is finally killing these, by the way. Now only SCVs can get through there. But, yeah, now he's going into dropship. So if you just go mass dropship here, wherever your opponent's dropships go, like, you can just kind of scan his regions over and over and have missile turrets around spotting. Wherever his dropships go, you just mirror with yours, and you unload on top of him. And if you have, like, the same amount, you'll either clear it or be very close to clearing it, especially if you have, like, a few extra Goliaths in there. The greatest overall DPS that you can put in a dropship is 4 Goliaths. Isn't that funny? Whereas siege tanks are stronger because you can siege them. If you're just mirroring them and dropping right on top, the Goliaths help a lot in clearing out things. Anyways, looks like he's actually going to do a more offensive play here. Dropping 4 siege tanks on that low ground. I don't think that's that good. Because Leta actually has his SCVs down here, right? He drops off some siege tanks, so it's like... Yeah, see, that didn't do too much. It's okay, though. It's not that is a terrible move or anything. Scan is keeping pressure on. He's getting all these other expansions up. And you can see just this ridiculous advantage that he's building. More and more command centers being made. A lot of dropships here for Leta off a 2-star port, as it should be. All right, very good move. Okay, this moment is actually really important. He's going to kill this base off. He should siege here. He should kill a geyser. And he should just play like a 4-base, completely turtled position. Look, he's killing this off really quickly. See, Scan wants to get in. Watch. Oh, sorry. Only 3 units got in. So now you're sitting here and it's like, okay, you know, where he's sieged is beautiful because the command center goes here, it'll still fit. And, like, maybe here you can siege, but he'll blow up everything with +2 tanks. So what do? Do you drop in here? Well, the Goliaths will shoot it down. His tanks will shoot it down. So now we've actually... This is crazy, right? Because Scan has the whole map. He has turrets everywhere. And you might look at this and... I thought the game was going to end. I thought we were going to have, like, a 7-minute game based on how well Scan opened. But now we're in this position, and look at this, okay? So I want to put this in perspective for you. 1, 2, 3, 4... 5. Do you know what you can afford off 5 bases with Terran? Literally anything. Literally anything. Does Scan have more bases? Yes, he does. Okay. And is he going to be able to get even more bases? Yes, if he wants, he can. But Leta can make whatever he wants. Like, he can go battlecruiser here. He can go mass dropship here, right? And he has the money to be, like, maxed out with everything for a while. So Scan has to be really careful about this. Scan is absolutely winning, right? He is ahead. There's no question. He's up in workers. He's up in supply. He's got a ton of production. If you look at the map, look at this. Look at... I just took off the vision. Look at the bottom left. Scan can see everything. Leta barely sees anything, okay? But if Leta does something like 10 dropships get into the main base, This can turn around so quickly. If Leta does something, this was the next thing I was going to talk about. If Leta does a big drop down here and takes this bottom left main and natural, this splits the map. More of the map goes to Scan, yes. Functionally more, but exact same amount of expansions. And if we're playing exact same amount of expansions, it doesn't really matter if you're playing a completely turtled position. There are things that Terran can do against you, like Scan can kind of divide. Maybe he can kill a middle base and put up turrets here or something. Yeah, there are things like that. But functionally, like same or very similar income. So right now, Leta has 10 dropships. This game is crazy, guys. This game is actually crazy. The fact that Leta has gotten this into like a playable position is amazing in and of itself. Like, really, I'm surprised and impressed. I really did think Scan was going to kill him, but yeah, sometimes you have to pull back a little bit quicker. Now, 10 dropships, as I said. Now he's taken this. We don't know if he's going to be able to keep it. Looks like Scan is coming in with a counter drop, but because these dropships are down here in an area that is not right at this moment important, what if he bombs 10 in here? Huh. Okay, I don't know. I think if he had bombed exactly in, it would have been dirty, but maybe he cleans everything. It's a possibility. Obviously, Scan is kind of expecting this type of play. You can see the amount of turrets he's making, the amount of tanks he's sieging. Scan has taken this bottom left and denied it. By the way, the only true island taken so far was by Leta, just to throw that out there. So those bases, when I was counting up bases, like, don't forget, those haven't been taken. Okay, clears here. Okay, okay. Look at this. Leta is opening the map a little bit more. Scan comes up with some units, tries to slow this down. Right now, we are on 11 dropships. Absolute insanity. But look, this does open the map. There was more turrets here. He's kind of pushing out edges. If he can remove some turrets here, suddenly it's like, okay, can we fly through the center? Well, we could, right? There's only one turret here. It's hard to find these paths without map hacking, but like, if he flies, okay, if I could zoom out all the way for you, if he takes his dropships and flies in this direction, follow my mouse, one turret, one Goliath, okay. You know what? If he finds the right path, he can get down here where there's nothing. What if he kills down here? If he kills down here, do we go to game 3? Probably. Damn. TVT is crazy. You literally can't tell me this isn't the best matchup. Oh, but I like Mutalisks and Scourge. Oh, I think that Reavers are exciting. Guys, it's all great, but guess what? TVT, when you look at something like this, it is so complex. There's so much stuff going on. Really, if you just like look at the dots on the mini map and put a Baduk board under or a Go board under there, that's like, you know, it really is. It's a lot like Go, where it's just like all this like control. The turrets go up and you're trying to surround your opponent and your opponent's trying to break out. And like, that's what we're seeing so often. Well, that's kind of funny. Okay, well, this is closed off, so only SCVs can get through. I mean, this is really dirty to try to drop into, so kind of nice from Scan to set that up like that. Still has tons of turrets. They both have unbelievable banks. Plus air weapons, plus air armor on the way here for Scan, so maybe battle cruisers. Yep, physics lab. Damn, all right. Now, Leta with a massive dropships. He's trying to outrun these siege tanks. Turns around suddenly. This is a very good move. I think that was excellent. Flies into an area with just a single missile turret. Doesn't really lose too much. Oh, 2 missile turrets, I guess. Loses like 1. And he's going to clear the starports. He knows exactly what Scan is thinking right now. Right? You clear this area, and then there's no vision. And then it's like, okay, we could maybe pick up again and go again. But if he can trap the dropships in here as well, that's a pretty big thing. Scan moving a lot of units over to the side. You notice how he put his SCVs all kind of pulled to stop. You know, if you do a massive drop like behind a mineral line, it can be hard to get to. He'll probably send those back to mine, make some more missile turrets, but he's cleared this area. He has cleared the area. You see Scan scanning it because he knows that something crazy could happen. He knows that this could fly out and hurt him at any time. Leaves a handful of Goliaths. Okay, gonna drop on these tanks. Okay. Right now, Leta flying out of here. So he's got 10 dropships out of this area. But look at what he's doing, man. This is actually crazy. So these SCVs, I believe that these are sacrifices. He had too many. He's got a gigantic bank. He wants to get into battle cruisers. So Scan is finally switching into BCs. Over here, absolutely not. Leta is starting to get his air upgrades, okay? No upgrades yet, but getting that air attack, getting that air armor. So he's getting ready for a battlecruiser switch as well. But his is going to be a lot later. So he's going to have to do some more tempo-based plays with his dropships. The dropships have to still get more done if he wants to win this game, I think. Like, battlecruisers are the ultimate endgame if you have a well enough turtled position. And this is a pretty darn turtled position. So if the dropships can still get in some, that means that the position is opened a little bit. And if the position is opened up a little bit, the battle cruisers are not as strong. Right? Like mobility and like very good mobility is super strong against battle cruiser switches, basically. You want to, once everything has stalled out, that's the time for battle cruisers. And Scan thinks it is now, and Leta has to play as if it's not now, basically. Now SCV's coming out to die. Time to clear. Look at their banks. 7K, 3K, 4K, 4K about. It's good to start sending some of these SCVs. You don't need to be mining a lot. What you need is a gigantic army. Another very good move here from Leta. Siege is up. Well, blows that all up for sure. 1, 2, 3 BCs on the way. We have the starports here. 4, 5. 5 BCs on the way. And looks like Leta does have his physics lab up, but we don't see that that made yet. This is actually a really important aspect, is that he is denying this gas. Scan's bank is basically gone now, which might look like a bad thing, but it's not. Like, look at what he's making right now. Tons of tanks, Goliaths, battle cruisers, making 5 BCs at a time. He already has at least a couple out. There's 2, 3, 4. So he has 4, 5 BCs right now, with another 5 making. 10 battle cruisers plus just maxed mech. How do you hold on with Leta's position? He could easily kill this base. Easily kill this base. Well, actually, if you drop Goliaths here, you'll save this base. Easily kill this base. So this base and this base are going to be up for grabs. Mass dropships, 11 of them still. Hasn't really been repairing them, so that could... You never know. If the turrets get the right pairings on some of these weaker dropships, you're going to be crying. You're going to be losing up to 10 supply with 1 missile turret hit. Could be rough. Still has potential, though. Don't forget that. There's a lot of potential when you look at a fleet of dropships like this. BC's flying back very defensively. Scan doing like a little bit of a push. This is a very weak defense. Looks like the dropship's coming back to help out. Slightly better mech upgrades. Not a huge deal. When battlecruisers come in, you do care about the carapace a little bit. Okay, looks like Leta wants to clear this. Should be able to with this many dropships of units. But Scan coming back with the tanks might make it more efficient for himself than it would have been otherwise. Still, this should get cleared. No, actually, he was a little bit slow getting there, man, and that's some big damage output. Leta's got a big army. Is Leta gonna now get map control? It's a real possibility. You know, here is Scan. You just want to make a lot of tanks. Siege them up. Scan getting Yamato still. Six here. And we actually have a lot of wraiths being made by Leta. He's actually sucked up all of his gas at this point. We have 2-2 upgrades and just 1-0 upgrade. So that's a little bit rough from Leta. Not what you're looking for. Some very good clearing going on. Clears all these tanks. That allows him to get this gas. It's very impactful. Siege is up a little bit, but this... Oh, I think that actually the BC count is too high. And he has no real way to get Goliaths here. Where's his dropships? He brings his Wraiths down. But 2-2 against 1-0. Like, the BC should be able to beat that pretty easily as long as he scans. So scans up Cloaks. And he's going to lose everything, I think. There we go. The scan goes down. And you can see the BC's just absolutely ravaging the Wraiths. Barely losing anything there. And this is it. Yeah, GG. And that means that Scan will go on to our next round. Leta, the first player eliminated from the round of 16. Our final match will be Mihu against Scan. Should be an excellent one. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.